Number 1. Vince McMahon, the boss behind bars. Vince McMahon. This story gets darker by the minute. The man who built WWE into a billion-dollar empire is now facing some absolutely devastating allegations. Back in January 2024, his former WWE employee named Janelle Grant dropped a bombshell lawsuit. Sexual assault, trafficking, stuff that's seriously heavy. The allegations claim that Vince made her engage with other WWE executives as part of her employment situation. The feds got involved, grand juries were called, and Vince had to step down from everything. Just this past January, he settled with the SEC for over $1 million because he was hiding hush money payments. $10.5 million in secret payments to keep women quiet about various situations. The wild part, the criminal investigation just got dropped in February 2025, but that civil case is still going strong. This man went from calling the shots in WWE to facing serious legal battles. The whole situation has completely changed the wrestling landscape. Number 2, Hulk Hogan, the $140 million body slam. Let me tell you about the time Hulk Hogan literally destroyed an entire media company with one lawsuit. Back in 2012, this gossip website called Gawker posted a private video of Hogan without his permission. Definitely not cool. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. Turns out a billionaire named Peter Thiel was secretly funding Hogan's entire legal battle. Why? Because Gawker had outed him as gay years earlier and he wanted payback. So Hogan took this thing to trial in 2016 and the jury absolutely destroyed Gawker. $140 million in damages. That's not a typo. $140 million. Gawker went bankrupt, shut down immediately, and Hogan walked away with $31 million after they settled. One lawsuit literally erased an entire media company from existence. Hogan didn't just win, he completely obliterated them. The case changed how privacy laws work in the internet age. Number 3, Stone Cold Steve Austin, when reality hit hard. Stone Cold Steve Austin was the biggest star in wrestling during the Attitude Era, but in 2002, Austin's real-life situation got way more serious than any storyline WWE ever wrote. His wife, Deborah, called the cops after a domestic incident at their house in San Antonio. When the police showed up, they found her with injuries, including a welt under her eye. Austin had already left the scene. The police put out a warrant, and Austin turned himself in 2 months later. He went to court and pleaded no contest to assault charges, got a year of probation, $1,000 fine, community service, and had to attend counseling sessions. The situation really damaged Austin's reputation as the fan favorite hero character. Deborah later spoke publicly about the incident and claimed there were multiple occasions where things got physical during their marriage. The whole thing showed how personal problems can completely overshadow even the biggest wrestling careers. Number 4, CM Punk, the pipe bomb that exploded in court. CM Punk's biggest victory didn't happen in a wrestling ring. It happened in a Chicago courtroom. After Punk left WWE in 2014, he went on this podcast and absolutely blasted WWE's Dr. Chris Amon. Punk said this guy misdiagnosed him, gave him poor medical care, and basically wasn't doing his job properly. So Dr. Amon decides to sue Punk for defamation, asking for $4 million in damages. Big mistake. Punk showed up to court in 2018 ready to fight. The jury took one look at the evidence and sided completely with Punk. The doctor got nothing, absolutely nothing. Punk proved his point about WWE's medical practices, but then it got messy between Punk and his podcast buddy Colt Cabana over who was paying the legal bills. They ended up suing each other for hundreds of thousands of dollars before finally settling in 2019. Punk won his case against the doctor, but it cost him a long-time friendship in the process. Number 5, Tammy Sunny Sitch. From Hall of Fame to Hard Time. Sunny went from being WWE's first major female star to serving 17 years in prison. This one's really tragic because you can see exactly how her life spiraled out of control. After WWE, Sunny got arrested repeatedly. Multiple DUI charges, violating restraining orders. The whole cycle kept repeating. But in March 2022, everything came crashing down. Sonny was driving intoxicated 3.5 times over the legal limit. She crashed into a car stopped at a red light and killed a 75-year-old man. The victim was just sitting there waiting for the light to change when the collision happened. She pleaded no contest to DUI manslaughter in 2023 and got sentenced to 17.5 years. She won't get out until 2039. A WWE Hall of Famer is now serving serious prison time. The whole situation shows how addiction and poor choices can completely destroy someone's life and hurt innocent people. Number 6. Booker T, from rock bottom to the top. Before Booker T became a 5-time WCW champion, he was involved in armed robberies. And get this, the crew wore their Wendy's work uniforms while doing the robberies, which made it pretty easy for cops to track them down. Booker was working at Wendy's making minimum wage and got involved with some friends who decided they needed more money. So they started hitting up other Wendy's locations around Houston. The uniform thing wasn't the smartest move. Booker got sentenced to 5 years in prison for aggravated robbery. He served 19 months before getting paroled. But here's the incredible part. Instead of going back to that lifestyle, he completely turned his life around and became one of wrestling's biggest stars. His autobiography is literally called From Prison to Promise. The man went from committing crimes to becoming a championship wrestler. That's one hell of a redemption story and shows people can really change their lives around. Number 7, Scott Hall, the incident that changed everything. This one's heavy. Back in 1983, before Scott Hall became Razor Ramon, he was involved in a fatal shooting outside a strip club in Orlando. Hall was in an altercation with another man and things escalated quick. The other guy pulled a gun on Hall, but Hall managed to wrestle it away from him. Then Hall shot the guy with his own weapon, killing him. The police charged Hall with second-degree murder, and he spent 3 days in jail waiting for trial. The charges eventually got dropped due to lack of evidence, but Hall said that night completely messed him up mentally. He started drinking and doing drugs to cope with what happened, and those issues followed him throughout his wrestling career. Hall said in interviews that he should have gotten counseling right away, but instead he just buried the trauma. Every time you saw Razor Ramon or Scott Hall in the ring, you were looking at a man carrying some serious emotional baggage from that night. Number 8, Rob Van Dam. When timing goes wrong. Picture this. Rob Van Dam just beat John Cena for the WWE Champion One Night Stand 2006. He's also the ECW champion. This guy is literally on top of the wrestling world, holding 2 major titles at the same time. Then, July 1st, 2006 happens. RVD and Sabu are driving to a show, and RVD gets pulled over for speeding. The officer smells marijuana, searches his car, and finds 18 grams of weed plus some Vicodin pills. Both guys get arrested. WWE finds out and immediately suspends RVD for 30 days. But first, they make him drop both championships in back-to-back nights. WWE title goes to Edge. ECW title goes to Big Show. Just like that, RVD's biggest push ever is completely over. RVD went to court, pleaded guilty, and paid a $140 fine for the marijuana, but that arrest cost him somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000 in lost pay from WWE. The timing couldn't have been worse for his career, though RVD later said that he actually burned out and needed the break anyway. Number 9, MVP, the longest prison sentence. MVP served more prison time than any other major WWE star, 9.5 years for armed robbery and kidnapping. This wasn't some minor offense or one-time mistake. MVP was involved in serious criminal activity as a teenager. He got sentenced to 18 years originally, but got out early for good behavior. Think about that. Nearly a decade behind bars. While other future wrestlers were learning their craft, MVP was doing hard time in the prison system. The experience completely changed him. He came out determined to never go back, and wrestling became his path to a different life. But even after becoming a star, his criminal record still affects him. He can't travel to certain countries, including Japan, and has to jump through legal hoops just to work in Canada. MVP completely transformed his life, but those 9.5 years in prison shapes everything about who he became. The man really did his time and came out a completely different person. Number 10, Charlotte Flair. Legal troubles at different stages. Charlotte Flair has faced legal issues twice in her life, both pretty serious situations. Back in 2008, she got caught up in a domestic dispute involving her dad, Ric Flair, and her boyfriend at the time. When the cops showed up to handle the situation, Charlotte ended up in an altercation with a police officer. She got sentenced to 45 days in jail, but managed to get it reduced to supervised probation and a $200 fine. Still, any kind of incident with law enforcement is serious business, especially when you're part of a famous wrestling family. Fast forward to December 2023, and Charlotte's in trouble again. This time, she gets pulled over in Florida for erratic driving, and they find marijuana in her car. She paid a fine and got the case closed quietly, but it shows that legal problems can pop up at different points in someone's life. Both incidents happened during different phases of her career, but Charlotte managed to keep climbing the ladder in WWE. The situations didn't derail her career, but they definitely became part of her personal record.